Hello, I'm John Yoakum with Benson State Park here in Mission, Texas. We have 750 acres to explore, lots of javelina, and also birds like the northern bearded strangulate, hook-billed kite, Harris hawks. We have a hawk watch in March and November. Lots of things to explore, daily bird walks, daily dragonfly walks, butterfly walks, just about every interest you might have in the outside. Even the plants are unique, of course, with this Tomaleepin scrub forest, and lizards of every kind, amphibians. And also we have night hike, owl prowls that are even cooler, of course, in the night than in the daytime. South Texas is, of course, a mecca for all bird watchers, because all of bird watchers in America eventually have to come to Texas. There are birds that are here that you can't find anywhere else, like the plain chachalaca, and of course the beautiful green jays, the Altamira oriole. They're all here at Benson, along with white-tipped doves, maybe not so beautiful, but just as rare, and birds like the northern bearded strangulate and white-tailed hawk. There are a lot of ways to get around Benson. You could bring your own bicycle or rent some of our bicycles, or walk, or, maybe best of all, take a ride on our free tram, free with admission, and it leaves at the bottom of every hour, and it takes about 20 minutes to half hour to get around the entire park. Another way to see beautiful Benson. You can get off the tram anytime and then catch the next one that comes around to go to a different spot in the park, or perhaps to return to headquarters. And teachers, remember that Benson has a special program for school children. We welcome groups and classes of children. We have a lot of programs to offer with aquatics, also with owl pellets, or maybe you just want to go out and see the beautiful birds of Benson. We welcome groups of all kinds, and in fact there's a discount for groups over 15. Anything to do with the outdoors, Benson's your place. And of course, we have the gift shop and the cafe, nice exhibit center for the children that maybe not interested in walking in 90-degree weather outside.
Hi, this is Javier de Leon, the interpretive naturalist from the Edinburgh Scenic Wetlands and World Birding Center. Our center is one of 9 birding centers in the Rio Grande Valley. Our center consists of 2 man-made ponds covering 40 acres and a 3.5-acre butterfly garden and over 2 miles of trails. The man-made ponds were made in the early 1970s, and for years birders have known about many types of birds congregating along this area in these 2 ponds. So in 2003, when Edinburgh decided that it wanted a World Birding Center, it was an obvious choice to build the birding center around these 2 ponds. And this site is also part of the Edinburgh Municipal Park. So the center was built in 2003, and since then it has grown every year as more and more visitors know about our site and as more and more birds come to our site to attract the visitors. Our site not only attracts birders and butterfly watchers from around the world, but we also have many programs designed for children. Over 2,000 fifth graders visit our birding center every year. The Edinburgh School District has signed a contract with the birding center to bring every 5th grader within the Edinburgh School District to our site as part of their science curriculum. When the 5th graders come into our site for their 5th grade field trips as part of the 5th grade wetlands program here that we have at the Edinburgh Birding Center, they get to see macroinvertebrates, or aquatic insects that they can see with their naked eye that they actually get to catch. And they also see microorganisms or microinvertebrates through real microscopes. Test the water in our discovery pond to see, so they can decide whether our water is healthy or not using different chemical tests. And on top of that, they also get to see the big picture using a model of what wetlands do. We're using a big model where they can see how wetlands absorb water and clean water. Through this, the kids get to learn a lot about wetlands, what wetlands do, and the different animals within a wetland. Our visitor center consists of a couple of interactive exhibits. All along our windows in our visitor center, there's exhibits where you can see the common birds, and you can press buttons to hear the common birds. Also, we have several computers, PCs, that have the Thayer birding software. And that software enables visitors to see the different birds of our area. You get to hear the birds, watch videos of the birds. If you'd like to quiz yourself, you can quiz yourself to see how well you know our birds. And lots of different things. There's also like a little video area where you can watch different videos, and a children's book area. Lots of families enjoy our center. Many weekends, what most families do, they come in, we can loan them binoculars for their entire family, and they go explore the site, look at all the birds, take a break from the heat outside, and just enjoy whatever videos we have, or let the kids explore the inside of the center.
Good morning, my name is Wayne Bartholomew. I'm the Executive Director here at Frontier Audubon. I began my tenure here in July of this past summer, so I'm still a relative newcomer to the Valley. And so far I'm loving it. I love everything about my job. It's just an incredible opportunity for anybody with any interest at all in natural history and border issues, conservation in general. There's a lot going on down here, and I think it's one of the more dynamic areas of the state, and I'm very, very proud and very, very happy to be here and be a part of everything that's going on. Frontier Audubon was established in late 1972, I believe, and was originally affiliated shortly thereafter with National Audubon, and for the first few years of their existence they were very, very involved and continue to be involved in a number of environmental issues, They were big proponents for increasing the lands of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and were very successful in that. They pushed very, very strongly for the development of the wildlife corridor, and ultimately spun off three different organizations that exist today as their own independent nonprofits. That includes the Wildlife Corridor Task Force, the Valley Land Fund, and then of course here in Weslaco, the Valley Nature Center. So we were an incubator, you might say, for those organizations, and very proud of that, and very proud of where those institutions have gone to. In 1992, we received a very generous bequest from the Skaggs family, which accounts for the bulk of the thicket and the property that we have here today. That includes the historic 1927 Skaggs home is out at the front of our property. That is a registered Texas historic landmark. In addition to the home, we received the surrounding grounds, which included a citrus orchard, which is still operating today. It contains a variety of citrus trees that are not often found anymore in the valley, a variety of different red grapefruit and white. So it's a very unique feature here at Frontera. We also have about 12 acres towards the eastern portion of our property, which is secondary growth, native scrub thorn forest, I guess you might say. It's recovering or regenerating from what used to be a pasture in the late 30s and mid 40s, and also citrus. And since that time, it has come back with a mixture of native plants, a lot of invasive species, and invasive species control was a big focus of our activities here during the 90s, and also development of trails, some constructive wetlands, which occurred with the help of the city of Weslaco, and also U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Put in a visitor center approximately 8 years ago, where we're located today. Enhanced a number of other features on the ground, the trails, like I said, feeding stations, a boardwalk over the marsh, circulating water features, and that sort of thing. So we have a pretty nice setup now that enables a wide variety of people to come here and enjoy getting back in touch with a little bit of nature right in downtown Weslaco.
Wayne, I'm sure that a lot of birders would be really interested in why should they come to Frontera Audubon right now? What are their outstanding features they might expect to see?
Frontera Audubon right now host and typically host a nice wintering flock of warblers. We have 7 or 8 different species of warblers which are here most every winter. That includes common yellow-throat, black and white warblers, yellow-throated warblers, lots of orange-crowned warblers, yellow-rumped warblers, black-throated green warblers, and a mixture of other birds that are somewhat unique, more unique to the valley. Some valley specialties such as the Altamira oriole, green jays, white-tipped doves, green kingfishers are all commonly found here, long-billed thrashers, curved-billed thrashers. In addition, we've hosted a number of rare or accidental species. A few years ago, of course, we had the crimson-collared grosbeak, the elegant trogon, and the white-throated robin, all of which showed up here late in the year, in November, and stayed for several months, and that was quite a hit with the birding community. We hosted people from all 50 states and 8 different countries came here specifically to see that combination of 3 rare visitors.
Rio Grande State Park. It's a world birding center and is one of the 9 proposed and existing sites. It's a birding paradise located in deep South Texas, just south of the city of Weslaco in the historic Rio Grande Valley. This 200-acre plus recreated wetlands and scrub thorn forest was in cooperation with the Texas Parks and Wildlife, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, and the city of Weslaco, along with the help of Ducks Unlimited, and the restoration of a wetlands that mirrors the native habitat of what this area would have been like possibly 200 years ago, before all the dams were placed on the Rio Grande. Much of the area's natural and native habitat was lost as the development of agriculture took hold along the fertile fields near the second longest river in the United States, that being the Rio Grande. The diversity of native plants and animals decreased, as the population and the development increased. Now, however, with more awareness that we must coexist with nature, Estero Llano Grande State Park was born. Under the direction of Martha Martinez Garcia, our park manager, it is now a dream in progress. The lakes and the marshes that attract waterfowl from wading egrets and herons to least sandpipers, from roseate spoonbills to the many species of ducks. Here at Estero Llano Grande State Park, bird watching is at its best. Rarities from Mexico and Central America occasionally wander up for a visit, as did the northern jacana in the fall of 2006. Attracting birds from all over the United States and Canada, bringing in many ecotourism dollars, which encourages the local governments to extend and expand more native habitat. The park, a former agricultural field, also boasts approximately 3 miles of trails winding through the wetlands on a raised boardwalk. It has easily accessible trails through the subtropical scrub thorn forest, where mammals such as coyotes, bobcats, possums, armadillos, and it also has the endangered Texas tortoise, as well as many different reptiles. They can all be seen here. The diversity of the landscape, be it along the banks of the Arroyo Colorado, which is on our southern boundary, the reconstructed wetlands to the mesquite and cactus forest. Adventure awaits. A pair of large alligators at Alligator Lake will bring excitement to children and to adults alike. Opportunity to learn about our native environment is an enjoyable and rewarding experience that will be recalled to memory many, many times. From native plants, of which insects and butterflies must have for their survival, to the wetlands that gives its bounty to the waterfowl, we have it all. Also located near the entrance is a visitor center, where one can observe many species of birds from its covered deck overlooking one of the lakes. Picnic tables are provided here for those that would like to bring a packed lunch. Also, a well-stocked store to purchase much-needed items that help you to learn and enjoy the nature that you may encounter while exploring the habitat of the lower Rio Grande Valley. Available too is a large meeting room. It's open for school groups, seminars, and the general public. On site are personnel to assist you to make the most of your visit. Come and enjoy our nature. It's here at Estero Llano Grande State Park.
Padre Island is part of a barrier island complex extending hundreds of miles along the Gulf Coast of the southern United States, from Florida all along the Gulf to Texas and then along the coast of Mexico. The warm waters of the Gulf provide a mild environment for people and waterfowl the year round. Waterfront dwellings and businesses thrive along the shore. An alternate type of birdwatching might just involve a leisurely stroll along the beach. It is difficult to predict exactly what might be seen.
This is Leslie Howland. I'm a supervisor here at Quinta Mazatlan. Quinta Mazatlan is a McAllen wing of the World Birding Center. Quinta in Spanish means country, home, or estate, and Mazatlan is an indigenous word meaning land where deer roam. So we are the McAllen Nature Center. We're owned and operated under the stewardship of the McAllen Parks and Recreation Department. It's a 1930s adobe home surrounded by about 20 acres of native thorn scrub. And we've got a half a mile of trails, and visitors can walk around the trails or explore the house.
Along the banks of the lower Rio Grande River is the Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge. It is located about 7 miles south of Alamo, Texas, and is more than 2,000 acres in size. It was established in 1943 for the protection of migratory birds. It is considered the jewel of the refuge system. This essential island of thorn forest habitat is host or home to nearly 400 different types of birds and a myriad of other species, including the indigo snake, malachite butterfly, and the endangered ocelot. You step into a rare tropical world at Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge. Spanish moss drips from trees. Noisy chachalacas welcome the morning dawn. Butterflies flit from the shadows. A shy green jay may dart down to get a tasty bit of a citrus fruit left by the park rangers. The wildlife clientele is truly international here along the most southern stretch of the Rio Grande River. The Santa Ana Refuge is strategically located at an ecological crossroads where subtropical climate, Gulf coastal plain, Great Plains, and Chihuahuan Desert meet. Thousands of birds from the Central and Mississippi flyways funnel through the area on their way to and from Central and South America. This small patch of mid-valley riparian woodland is also habitat for about 1/2 of all butterfly species found in the United States. More than 397 species of birds have been seen at Santa Ana, making it a birder's delight. Waterfowl, marsh birds, and shorebirds may be seen on the lakes and wetlands of the refuge. There are 12 miles of foot trails and access roads that are open to hiking in addition to the 7-mile tour road. These trails vary in length from only a half mile, which is both paved and wheelchair accessible, to the 7-mile wildlife drive. Trails are open every day from sunrise to sunset. During the winter season, roving naturalists and guides are available to assist visitors.
Hello, I'm Christina Mild. I do what's called locally relevant environmental education. I was trained as a biologist, studied cell biology, and became interested in native plants when I moved to South Texas. The Valley Nature Center became the place where I connected with the people who shared those interests and people who could teach me about our native plants and the animals which depend on them. I continue to remain active with the Valley Nature Center, primarily with doing tours for local school children. I also write about native plants and give presentations to a number of groups and tours on the native plants which inhabit the valley. The Valley Nature Center is the first place in the valley I know of which has been successful in removing the invasive exotic guinea grass, which has come into the valley since the 1950s. It is the main threat, besides bulldozing, to our native habitat. Because the guinea grass has been removed in the Valley Nature Center successfully, it gives other people understanding that they can do likewise in other places. It gives people an idea of how beautiful our habitat can be and what kind of flowers and berries it can provide for the use of animals. The Valley Nature Center is great for children and adults who are beginning to be interested in nature because they can easily see a number of animals and see them at close range. They can see them, many of them, quite easily without being expert or without having special binoculars. This is in part because of the wonderful habitat which has been created by removal of guinea grass, by watering areas so that the plants can produce seeds and fruit and flowers, and also because the Valley Nature Center maintains a number of feeders and water features, which also show people what they can do in their own yards to benefit the wildlife. For children who I take on tours through the Nature Center, little mini habitats just adjacent to each other, which are quite different and attract very different kinds of animals, those are very important for children to see. We try to teach them about that in the classroom, but it's wonderful when they can see a small stream on one side which attracts dragonflies and birds who come to get a drink, and just behind them is a dry, hot cactus garden where lizards are running and playing. These are just two examples of the special habitats we see in the park. We also have wonderful vine-laden trees which make a hidden pathway, and under these vine-laden trees children can walk. In that area they can see the nests, as many as 7 to 9 active nests of yellow-crowned night herons which roost yearly in the valley, in the Nature Center in spring. And under those nests, children can see the difference between the adult birds and the juveniles. The birds sit there seemingly unperturbed. Because the Nature Center is an enclosed park, I feel especially safe about letting children explore on their own there, and I feel much safer conducting field trips in the Nature Center than in any other space in the valley because of the fenced nature of the park. When you're working with children, you can. It's always hard to balance safety with their desire to explore. The walk-in native plant nursery at the Nature Center is unique in the valley in being the only walk-in nursery we have where everything is native. This is the only one east of Mission and probably south of San Antonio. For people who wish to revegetate, it's a unique resource.
South Padre Island World Birding Center is a nonprofit organization which was created by the town of South Padre Island in order to provide a place for residents and visitors to have opportunities to observe the birds of the area. Because of its location and its geologic setting, it is a rather unique situation. You never know what sort of animal, bird, or wildlife that you might see. The World Birding Center has a site of more than 50 acres, and it is a very important stopover for migratory birds, which of course are going either north-south or south to north. The South Padre Island World Birding Center is located on Padre Island, and Padre Island just happens to be the world's longest barrier island, and it separates the Laguna Madre from the Gulf of Mexico. The Laguna Madre is an important place for birds that have just crossed the Gulf of Mexico that are on the way north because it is a rich environment and has lots of food and resting places for tired birds. The Laguna Madre also represents a place for birds to rest before taking the flight over the Gulf of Mexico on the way south.